Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright y'all, Boruto chapter 5 of TBV, the spoilers have just been released and there's a bunch of stuff that happened. First things first, Sasuke and how he did actually die. Now the flashback scene basically started off with Sasuke and Boruto training with each other. From the spoilers, we didn't necessarily get to see anything specific on what they were actually learning or get to see exactly how good Boruto was at that particular point. And specifically, we don't even know exactly the time frame of this particular flashback. One of the things that we do know from earlier chapters is the fact that Code referenced the meeting with him, Boruto, and Sasuke, and he pretty much said that it happened about 2 years ago. So this flashback in itself could definitely be that meeting, which would mean that Boruto, even though he mastered everything, he's still only 1 year into his training. They pretty much said that Boruto mastered the Uchiha style at first. We had no idea absolutely what they were talking about with this. If you guys do recall, this right here did actually get released a couple of days ago, and we kind of thought that it might either be the actual fighting style or it may actually be his drip, his clothing, because earlier on in the series, Kawaki pretty much said that Boruto looked like an adopted Uchiha child. But regardless, we now find out that he was specifically talking about abilities, fighting technique, and fighting style. And not only that, he also said that he mastered most of Sasuke's techniques. That right there in itself is going to be interesting to see exactly how that manifests, not only because Boruto is not an Uchiha and a lot of the Uchiha quote-unquote techniques are really specific to Uchiha, but also the fact that Boruto is supposed to be stronger than Sasuke. And this right here is going to be very apparent in a couple seconds. There's a lot of dialogue with Boruto and Sasuke in this particular scene, so I'm pretty sure a lot of the Sasuke diehard fans are going to absolutely love this. But the next scene during this flashback scene was the actual battle with Code versus Boruto and Sasuke. At this particular time, it made it seem like they were at the very end of the battle, because it seemed that Sasuke and Boruto had already come to the conclusion that they're probably not necessarily going to be able to beat Code. Code seemed like he just got his scar mark, and we were kind of wondering who actually gave Code that claw mark. Turns out that the answer is actually Sasuke. One of the things that's going to be incredibly important for power scaling is that no one has their karma seal activated, neither Boruto or Code. Now this right here could mean multiple different things. This right here can mean that Code destroyed both Sasuke and Boruto without karma seals, and it could be the fact that Boruto does not trust Momoshiki. However, we do have to bring up the fact that we have seen players, or we have seen characters, be knocked out of their karma seal state, and because this is the end of the battle, it's not far-fetched at all for no one to really have their karma seal, because during the course of battle they were all knocked out of their karma seal state. So in regards to karma seals, unfortunately we don't have a confirmation of if they were actually used, but we do have a good idea that hey, maybe they weren't actually used. But nonetheless, it pretty much showed that Sasuke essentially sacrificed himself to save Boruto. Boruto didn't want to do this again. Boruto's karma seal, even though this was like one of the worst things that could happen to him, he opted not use. And again, as I said, it could just be the fact that he got knocked out of the karma seal, or it could be the fact that the hatred for Momoshiki or the threat of Momoshiki is looming so large that he just flat out, even in a life or death situation, is just not asking help from Momoshiki. But while Boruto was saying that he didn't want to leave, Sasuke said something very interesting and made it clear that he believes that if Boruto masters all of the things that Sasuke did teach him, then Boruto would pretty much be unbeatable. He didn't necessarily say that, and we do have to wait until the official translations come out, but he said that no one would be able to stand up against him. That right there, in my personal opinion, would kind of mean that Sasuke kind of already understands and already believes that because Boruto is already naturally more talented, because Boruto is a genius, and also because Boruto is part Otsutsuki, pretty much won the DNA Olympics, he's pretty much going to be stronger than Sasuke. Not only that, he may actually be unbeatable. But the next thing that I do want to talk about has to be the Shinju. The Shinju in this particular chapter, they came together and they were plotting their next moves, and not only that, they gave us a lot more information of what they are. Again, we finally got the name Shinju. We finally got that. Not only that, they're actually calling the specific Shinjus different names. Not only that, they also said that they're pretty much one being, but they have different consciousness, and that right there is going to be specific to them. So for example, even though Sasuke is a part of the Shinju, quote unquote, he's still going to have some sort of memories or some sort of sensitivity, quote unquote, with some of his past memories. Same thing with Moegi, same thing with Bug, and etc. Whoever else turned into Shinju. Now because of that, they pretty much chose their next enemies, and what was interesting about this specific scene right here, this crystallized what they were pretty much talking about earlier in the previous chapters, how they aren't necessarily solely searching for Otsutsuki members. In this particular chapter right here, Sasuke, I think this right here is going to be the biggest, probably like anticipated battle of TBV thus far. Sasuke pretty much said that his target is going to be Sarada. One of the things that we have been talking about for a very long time with Sarada is how is she going to reach the elites of the elites. If you guys do recall, Sarada is an Uchiha member. Sarada isn't even a full Uchiha member. When we talk about Uchiha members, Itachi was a special case. Itachi was one of one. Never mind Itachi, Madara. Madara is supposed to be like a once in a lifetime Uchiha member, and technically he was. And then Sasuke came along, and don't even think about Sasuke, who's being possibly amped by Shinju plus Code's DNA and blood. Never mind that, just regular Sasuke. How is Sarada gonna actually get to that level? Of course, Sarada is saddled with a bunch of plot armor that's probably gonna get her to different levels of strength, but regardless, this is going to be an anticipated battle, but also a battle to see exactly how strong Sarada can actually get if this battle does actually come to pass. Now, another character that we did actually get to see, and this right here is probably going to be like the second most anticipated battle, it's Alfredo versus Naruto. To be honest, Alfredo seems to be the leader of the Shinju. Even though they're all supposed to be one being, he always seems to be the leader of the conversation. He always seems to be the person standing tall above everyone, and he always seems to be the person actually talking first. He says that he wants to fight Naruto. This right here did make Ada a little bit weary, mainly because she pretty much said that, hey, Naruto is not an Otsutsuki member, even though I did talk about Sarada versus Sasuke. This right here was a little bit prior to that. So this right here definitely caught Ada off guard. Now, I do want to know specifically how this right here affects Kawaki, because one of the things that we do understand is that Kawaki, above everything else, he probably loves Naruto more than he hates the Otsutsuki clan. And if these characters want to actually affect Naruto, Kawaki is probably going to be against them. And you guys know the enemy of my enemy is my teammate, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If Boruto and Kawaki's common enemy, if Boruto and the Hidden Leaf Village is common enemy, if Boruto and everybody else's common enemy are going to be the Shinju, I'm not going to say it makes sense for Boruto to team back up with the Hidden Leaf Village, but I wouldn't necessarily rule it out, and this right here could possibly be the start of something huge. But regardless of the other two fights that we do have lined up, the other one is going to be Bug versus Ada. This is going to be interesting for multiple reasons. It could be interesting and could be boring. It could be interesting mainly because it could be the first time that we do actually get to see Ada fight hand to hand, and we could actually get to see exactly how strong she is, and not only that, some of her actual abilities and techniques in regards to actual fighting. But it could be one of the most boring battles mainly because Ada could just tell Damon to kill Bug, and that'll just be it. Like, I wouldn't rule that out at all, simply because at this particular time, we all understand that Damon is part of the big dogs. We don't fully think that Code has surpassed Damon yet. We don't fully think that these Shinju clones have surpassed Damon yet. And because of that, this could turn out to be an extremely boring battle. And honestly, I won't even rule that out because it is Bug. He's not that important of a character. Now, next is going to be Moegi versus Konohamaru. This right here, in my personal opinion, is actually interesting. I've given up on the character of Konohamaru a long time ago, but this could be a sense of relevancy for Konohamaru. Not only a sense of relevancy, this could be the start of a redemption arc for Konohamaru. If you guys do recall, Konohamaru has been in multiple embarrassing scenes. Konohamaru in this particular chapter is pretty much being told to the audience that, hey, he's going to be involved in the main plot. If he's involved in the main plot and he actually does put in a bunch of work, if he is involved in the main plot and actually does things to help the cause of the Hidden Leaf Village, if he's actually put in the plot and he does things to actually not only help, but also pretty much finish off the Shinju clones, my goodness, this is a fast track to him potentially becoming the 9th Hokage. I didn't even think I'd be able to say something like that. But if there was ever a time for Konohamaru to start making a case to becoming a Hokage, it starts in a battle versus Shinju Moegi. Honestly, and even though I did kind of give up on Konohamaru, I'm hoping that we do see some sort of redemption from him, because his character, regardless of how he fights, regardless of what I think his strength level is, he's an interesting character. He's been there since day one. He fought against Pain, one of my favorite characters, and actually won against one of the past. So he's definitely an interesting character. And if the Boruto writers want to make him a very integral part of the storyline, in my personal opinion, that would be a smart idea. Another interesting thing that happened was the fact that Amado is actually resisting omnipotence. Now, this right here came in a conversation with Sumine. Amado pretty much pointed out that Kawaki holds a Kibi in his karma seal, and all he has to do is implant a clone and she'll pretty much come back. Now at this particular point, everybody's confused. Sumine, me, the audience, Ada, never mind. We don't know if Ada's paying attention to this conversation. I just want to talk a little bit more, but regardless. Now the reason why we were confused is because Kawaki is supposed to be Boruto and Boruto is supposed to be Kawaki if we're going under the guise of omnipotence. In this particular case, he was pretty much naming Kawaki verbatim. Sumine kind of corrected him, but Amado gave the reason as to why he believes that Kawaki Kawaki actually does have the karma seal, and not only that, that he's pretty much rejecting the omnipotence. He's saying that he doesn't have full trust in his memory. He's saying that there's signs of him working on Kawaki's karma seal and his body all over Kawaki's body. And that right there stands to be proof as to why he believes that he did work on Kawaki and not Boruto. Now, one of the interesting things that was actually brought up is the fact that proof doesn't necessarily change people's minds. Suna is pretty much saying that if you show someone a baby picture or a family photo of Boruto, they'll still reject it. However, there are those people out there that are not rejecting the proof. There are those people out there who do believe that their memories shouldn't be 100% trusted, similar to like a character like Sasuke. Sarada brought up how Sasuke pretty much trusted her over his own memories. And when it comes to something as important as Amado's daughter, he may actually look to proof and kind of disregard his own memories, mainly because he specifically understands that not only Ada has omnipotence, but also other people out there may also have omnipotence as well. So Amado, in personal opinion, may actually be like ahead of the game, or this may be all a part of his plan. He just slipped up quickly and recovered nicely. Now, not only that, Boruto did actually return to the Hidden Leaf Village. In my personal opinion, this right here is probably going to be like one of the best scenes of the entire chapter, mainly because this right here could definitely be like a symbolic thing, the time where Boruto actually did return to the Hidden Leaf Village. Now, I do want to go over more about how this right here could definitely be like him returning permanently to the Hidden Leaf Village, but we're pretty much already like 10 minutes deep into the video. But Boruto tells Sarada that Sasuke gave his life for him and for her, and Sarada just hugs Boruto. Sarada didn't necessarily acknowledge what Boruto said, but I'm guessing Sarada knows what happened to Sasuke. Even though Sasuke's not dead, I don't necessarily think he's gonna die, but I think this right here is definitely a very good symbolism moment, or a very good scene for Boruto and Sarada. But let me know what you guys think about these spoilers in the comment section down below. It's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.